Good afternoon and welcome back to EduAdvisor's live webinar series. Thanks to EduAdvisor's a virtual education fair, we'll be hosting a live webinar daily until 6 December at 11 a.m. and 3 p.m. I'm Josephine Ong and I'll be your host for this session on a scholarship winner's secret to success. Thanks for tuning in. She's goal-oriented, brilliant, and determined. She is a JPS scholar, on top of being a first-class honors degree recipient, the best graduate of UITM in 2018, who also received the Royal Chancellor's Award. At the young age of 24, she has also completed her master's degree from the University of Manchester. Afrina Zulkifli has been nothing but an outstanding student throughout her years in university. Today, she's here to share with us her success story and secrets of securing a JPS scholarship. Welcome aboard, Afrina Zulkifli.
Alright, hi. Thank you for such great comments. It's very flattering.
How are you feeling today?
I'm good. Thank you for inviting me here.
And thank you for being here with us. Okay, so before we continue, if you have any questions for Ms. Afrina Zulkifli, do leave a message at the comment section and we'll try to get to it at the end of this session. And also don't forget, you can take our quizzes at our virtual education fair and score points to win our amazing prizes such as a scholarship of up to 3,000 ringgit, a Nintendo Switch-like console, and more. So be sure to check them out after this webinar. So, Afrina, tell us your story.
Okay. Alright, I guess a bit of background of basically, what I studied, where I'm currently at. Okay, so basically I started my education by going for my foundation. My foundation was actually in teaching English as a second language. So basically I did my foundation in TESOL in UITM Alor Gajah, which was in Malacca. So that was a 1.5-year program. And then after that, I went to UITM Shah Alam. I pursued English for professional communication, where I minored in business. So that was the bulk of where I studied. That was a great 3 years there. And during that stint, I was also a JPA scholar. So from there, I obtained another scholarship to go abroad for my masters. So that's when I went. It's just for 1 year. It's a 1-year program. So I did my masters in international relations. And after that, I came back because I need to serve the government since I'm a scholarship holder. And currently, I'm at Kumpulan Wang Persaraan, or known as QUAP. It manages and invests the pension fund for civil servants. So people know what EPF is, right? So basically, QUAP is the opposite. So we manage the government sector. And I'm very happy that I'm in corporate affairs and associate under events and CSR. So yeah, I'm running around, always busy all the time.
Yes, I can see that you're always busy with lots of events.
Yeah, well, I like it that way. I mean, I like to interact with people. I like to go out with events and all that. And I'm also pursuing my PhD right now. So trying to balance it all.
Yeah, I think it's a really tough, but I see that you're managing it well.
Okay.
Yeah, so let me repeat. So you're a JPS scholar, a first-class honors degree recipient, the best graduate of UITM 2018, who also got the Royal Chancellor's Award. So how did you manage to get all of this? Do you have a magic formula for obtaining these outstanding achievements?
Right. Magic formula. That's kind of a tough question, right? Is there a really right way to, I think what worked really well for me was that I really got to know what works best for me.
Yeah.
During my foundation, I was struggling learning on, how to study. Because I see so many people, they spend hours reading, books and studying, and it works really well for them. But for me, it didn't really translate as well. So I tried a different approach. I had this one class where our lecturer told us that, learners, they learn whether it's visual, auditory, or kinesthetic, which is hands-on. So I got to know that I'm actually a visual as well as an auditory learner. So I totally changed my style, and that drastically changed, my results and all of that. So, what I did was that, after reading the textbook like once or twice, I convert it into my notes, and then I'll just put my books aside. So my notes are like my holy grail. So it's very colorful, with visual and all that. But it's not like the pretty, like perfect notes. It's just it works best for me.
Yeah.
So basically, like during exams, I can actually visualize the pages.
Wow.
Yeah, I can like remember, the shapes, the arrows and all that. And then because every time I study, I actually, repeat it out loud. So during the exam, I can visualize as well as listen to my own voice. So that was like kind of a jackpot for me.
Yeah.
So that really worked really well for me, and I think that was my magic formula. I think like people really have to understand that, not a particular learning style suits everyone. Yeah. So you really have to find that, method that works best for you.
Yeah, so listen up. Make sure you find what is your formula so that you find the best way to study for your exams. And if you are like Afrina, an auditory and visual learner, so you gotta do what she gotta do, and maybe steal her notes, right? Okay, so what are some of your biggest challenges that you think you've experienced throughout this many years of studying? And
I think there's a story that I usually share like on social media and all that. I think this is a story that a lot of people resonate. For like UPSR, I did well, straight A's, PMR straight A's, but I didn't really do so well for my SPM. And I think a lot of people resonate because I have this element of like hope that even though you have like a hiccup during your education and all that, it's okay because you can use it as a stepping stone. So like honestly speaking, my SPM wasn't really that good. I only got 5 A's, 3 B's and 2 C's, and that was like a total shock for me because I did really well for my trials. I think because I was so active in sports and I was like so pressured and all that, so that was the result that I got. But it was like a big challenge for me because after that, people see me as like a underdog kind of person, So it's breaking free from that was my biggest challenge. But the best part is my biggest challenge is also my biggest motivator. I didn't want like people thinking like one hiccup in life and then that's going to set the rest of your life. And sometimes you need to fail to know where you want to end up. Because I got 5 A's, I took up English, I took up communication, and that really worked for me. So the perception of people is very hard to manage. So I think that was the biggest challenge, and also the challenge to convince my parents that this is what I want to do. This is what I'm good at, and I can succeed. Despite whatever has happened.
How did you manage to convince them? Like, was it hard? Like after your SPM?
Well, the plan was if I got like straight A's, I was supposed to take medicine. You know what I mean? I wanted to become a doctor since I was small. But then my mother, my aunties, they are teachers, and most of them take English. Like they took TESOL and they're teaching English and all that. So they actually asked me or like persuaded me into taking up TESOL. So I thought I had a passion in English, but little that I know, it wasn't really English. It was about communication. So after that, I switched into communication. The best way to convince your parents is to get good results. After that, they're like very convinced that, okay, you're very well suited there.
I see. So guys, so it's never too late, even if you did not do too well. As you can see, it all takes hard work and convincing your parents the right way.
Sure.
Right? So what has inspired you to consistently push yourself?
Okay, I think one would be like I wanted to be like a role model for other people, because when I was in uni, I was involved in a lot of things. I wanted to be someone that was holistic. So I really focused on my education, even my extracurricular activities and all that. So that was a motivator because I wanted to also convince myself that a hiccup doesn't mean that you're set for life. That was, of course, one of the biggest motivator. But of course, my parents. That little hiccup during SPM, I felt that I let down my parents. So the biggest motivator was to actually, you know, prove them that, you know, I'm meant for bigger things. And when I actually achieved the Chancellor's Award, you know, I had to give a speech in front of like 3,000 people.
Wow.
I think it was the first day of UiTM's convocation. It was supposed to be attended by the Agung himself, but you know, on that day it was actually attended by the Minister of Education. But then I gave my speech, and you know, directly in front of me were my parents, and I can say that that is one of my biggest highlight in my life. You know, I could see like my parents like tearing
Proud
up.
of you.
Yeah,
They're like,
so
crying, oh my
yeah.
Afrina.
So I could say that the biggest motivator would be that, you know, just proving myself that, you know, I can do better, and my parents, of course, my family.
Yeah, that's it's really touching story right there. Moving on. So have you always known what you wanted to be? Like, yeah, before this.
Okay. You know, when I was small, I wanted to become a
Yeah,
doctor.
yeah, you wanted to be a doctor.
Alright, so no, the answer is no. You know, after I got my SPM results, I thought that I wanted to still pursue medicine because I did get into matrix. I could have done my diploma in science. So that was still somehow rather a way for me to, you know, go to that path. But then I stopped and asked myself, what am I passionate about? You know, so I'm passionate about language, communication, all that. So I changed my path towards that because you know, you have to pick a line where you feel comfortable in. Because I believe that when you are in a line that you're comfortable in, you're passionate in, you do really well. So that's why I think that was one of the major reasons I did well in my degree, because it complemented me so well.
Yes.
Yeah. So for me, I think at the end of the day, you have to do what you like. Yeah, because you're gonna spend years and years, you know, being in that field. Yeah.
Yeah, so follow your passion. Okay, so before we continue further in dissecting Afrina's life, if you've just entered our live webinar series, welcome. We have Afrina Zulkifli here to share with us her success story in securing a JPA scholarship. Should you have any questions for her, please leave your question in the comment section and we'll try to get to it at the end of this session. So now let's talk about something that a lot of our audience probably are here for, your JPA scholarship.
Yeah.
Yes. Would you mind sharing with us some details about the entire process?
Okay. So basically, after I finished my degree, you know, I went for internship. So immediately after that, I started working actually, because I thought that the scholarship by JPA is going to open the following year, because sometimes JPA opens every 2 years or every 1 year. So the plan was to work for a year and then register for the scholarship. But it turned out after like 3 months of working at an advertising company, the scholarship actually opened, and it was sometime during June and July. So I immediately applied. Because they had a list of universities that you can go to. So for that year, I think that was in 2018, it was the top 50 universities in the world. So I actually wanted to go to other universities as well, because I actually qualified for the Ivy Leagues and all that. But then because it was a time constraint for me, so I guess it was fated for me to go to University of Manchester. Yeah, so I got an acceptance letter from University of Manchester, and then I applied online. So the process was basically all online. You have to submit your acceptance letter, your transcripts, your results, some referral letters from your lecturers and all that. And then after that, like 2 weeks after that, they will send you an email saying that you've been shortlisted, and then come and join an interview on like certain dates at whatever venue. And then I went for an interview, and then literally I know it was like I was applying for my visa, and it was like,
how long did it take to do all of this?
I think it was a very fast 1 month.
1 month.
Yeah. Because I got the acceptance letter from University of Manchester fairly late. Yeah, but then it only took 1 month. Yeah. So acceptance letter, apply everything online, call you for an interview, and you get it or not, and then you'll just fly.
So do you have to go for some interviews,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
So what were some of the toughest or intense questions that you faced?
Like for the GPA scholarship, actually the interview is not an individual interview. It's actually a group interview. So during my time, there were like 1,000 students or more, but they didn't really tell us like how many spots were actually there. But they offered a lot of scholarships for local universities. Like for me, I applied for overseas. So the chance of obtaining it is like, because there's such a limited number of spots.
Yeah.
So when I went for the interview, I had like 4 people altogether. So you really have to know, when to answer, how to answer, and when you have like 4 people, you have to know like when to interject and all that. So it's a skill on its own. Like everyone there wants to show that they are worthy of the scholarship. So I think that is one of the tricky parts, because they really want to see like how do you manage, do you repeat an answer that if somebody goes first before you, and all that. But the questions were mainly directed to what you applied for. Like for me, I applied for international relations, so they asked questions about like the Malaysian political landscape, and then why I wanted to go to Museum of Manchester, why that field. And sometimes they throw like really hard questions, like curveballs, just to like knock you off. I think the question that I got was like, are you sure you're gonna succeed?
Oh my god.
Yeah. So we're gonna give you this scholarship. It costs like this much and so, and then do you think you can excel? And
The
then
answer was yes.
yeah, of course you're supposed to answer yes. But they throw you curveballs, and you can actually see, people tense up when they answer these questions. So because they just want to see how you stand out and all that. So you really have to know like why you're choosing your subject matter, and why you're choosing that course, why do you want to go to that uni, and just like be calm and like try to stand out.
So know your reason and standing out among the rest. Did you have a goal that you set for yourself when you aim for the scholarship?
Okay, so since I was like really small, I've always wanted to study abroad, and I come from a ordinary family, so I knew that if I wanted to go abroad, it had to be on my own means. So I had to study really hard and all that. So during SPM, the plan was actually to get a scholarship then, but that didn't work out for me. So it actually worked out during degree. Yeah. So during my degree, I applied for the scholarship. So my UiTM studies was under GPA, and then after that, I went abroad, and then yeah.
So it's always been there, but it just happened at a different time of your life. Yeah, but it still happened anyway.
Yeah, so the plan was to always like, the goal was to always study abroad. You know, if not now, sometime in the future.
Yeah.
But so I'm very grateful that it actually happened for me.
So you're now currently pursuing your PhD, right? So and you're working and running campaigns and also your wedding.
Yeah.
Okay.
In a few months time.
So you must have like excellent management skills. How do you balance all of this, work, studies, and life?
Honest answer, very challenging. It's very challenging to like manage and all that. But at the end of the day, you really have to set a specific schedule. Like work is like to what hours so and so, and then you have to put some time just to write your thesis. You have to have a balance and everything. I think at the end of the day, it's just planning it out. And I spend a lot of my weekends, because I'm studying. I do a lot of proofreading, and then I do a lot of reading journals and all that. Sometimes I don't really go out and all that, but I still find a balance throughout everything. Like after work, I still find time to do activities and all that. So you just have to be
squeeze it in.
Yeah. At the end of the day, if you like what you do, I'm very passionate about my PhD. I'm in the midst of writing my proposal right now. So I'm passionate about that. I'm passionate about work. So everything is like worthwhile. At the end. I try, okay. It's difficult, but
it still boils down to whether or not you like to do it, right? That's what like fueling all of this passion, right? So what is next for you then? What is your ultimate goal that you want to achieve?
Like ultimate goal. Okay, the dream has always been to have like my own NGO or some sort that I can contribute back to people. You know, I like what EduAdvisor is doing. You know, how you help students to, you know, gain scholarships, to help them pursue and all that. So actually
Thank
for
you.
me, I the plan is to have like my own NGO, you know, help people in need and all that. So whatever I'm doing now is a stepping stone towards that. You know, I'm in an organization to learn how an organization works. You know, how do you manage people, how do you know, the skills that require for certain positions and all that. So, and I'm also taking my PhD. You know, it's, you know, continuing your studies is never a bad thing. You know, it's always good for your self development. Yeah, so I hope that one day, you know, I have my own NGO, help people. So that's actually the ultimate goal.
Yeah, that's a very noble goal,
So I
and
hope it works out.
I wish you all the very best. We are all rooting for you, Afrina. So, lastly, do you have any words of wisdom or encouragement that you would like to share with our audience here?
Okay. I think the one thing that I would like to share is that whatever happens in life, you really have to be okay with it. You know, take failures as stepping stones to success. You know, if you don't fail, then you would never really understand the true meaning of success. So for me, I would like to say that, you know, you have to constantly motivate yourself and, you know, bring yourself up. You know, always take failures or hiccups as learning curves, you know, and always have hope. You know, for me, you know, like if I lost hope at Form 5, you know, it wouldn't have happened this way.
Yes.
So, yeah.
So have hope,
Yeah.
and all will go well. So right now we are going to take some questions from
Okay.
the audience, and let's see.
So there are audience.
Yes. So let's see if we have anything here. Let me just check. Okay, so we do have. Oh, that's a lot of questions. So we have Fakira Mukhtar who asks, "Hi, Miss Afrina. Do you have any tips to increase the chances of getting a scholarship?"
Okay. I think at the end of the day, you know, when you apply for a scholarship, they will take a look at your results, and then you'll get selected, and then you'll go for an interview, right? So that's where you have to stand out. You know, you have to learn to be, you know, even if you're nervous, of course I was nervous as well, but you have to, you know, practice a lot, you know, be calm, try to stand out. Okay, as I said before, right? So because sometimes interviews, it's not just you alone, it's about you against like so many other people. So you really have to really be passionate about what you want, really know what you want, and I think that stands out. You know, always practice and all that, because not everybody has a flair, you know, like communicating, interviewing and all that. You just practice and be yourself. You know, don't try to be like someone else, because the interviewers, they can see like if you're trying to be like someone else, if you're so uptight, or you're trying to, you know, yeah, just be yourself, be calm,
Breathe.
yeah, and breathe. You know, hide, you know, mask
Yes.
the nervousness and all that.
Okay, thank you. And also we have some more questions. Let's see. How do you manage your time when studying abroad? Bet it was hard as you have so many other fun things that you can do.
Alright, so I was only abroad for 1 year. So the master's program is 1 year, but the actual time that you spend in uni, like going to classes, was only 10 months for me. So it was really fast. And you know, when you take masters, you have less subjects. And you know, universities abroad, you can actually schedule it in a way that, you know, you go to classes certain days and all that. So I scheduled my classes in such a way that I had it all in the beginning of the week, like Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and the rest of the week I would work.
Work.
Yeah,
Oh.
yeah. I used to work at Primark. I mean, that was heaven. I used to work at Primark, and then I worked in Amazon and all that. Yeah, so it was really balancing, you know, studying and working and all that. I went to a lot of concerts and all that, so I did have fun abroad. But at the end of the day, you know, when it boils down to exams, it boils down to like submitting your work, you really focus. You know, of course you have time to spend with your friends, to travel. Now I went to other countries as well. I went to Amsterdam, I went to Paris, because it was so near in Europe. but you just have to, know when to study and then when to travel. So just manage your time.
Do you have like a calendar that?
Yeah, I used to have a schedule. Yeah, so like I'm gonna study for certain hours and then I'm gonna go to work and then I'm gonna just relax and have fun. Yeah, so I think a very good thing is to have a timetable. You don't really have to like abide it like 100%, but it's good to be a reminder for you. Yeah, so like every day I would take a look at it and say, oh, I'm supposed to do this today, so I'm gonna try to finish it today and all that. Yeah.
So speaking of keeping to schedule, we have also a question by
Okay.
Zahidi. How did you overcome procrastination? Do you procrastinate? That's a golden question.
Of course, I think everybody procrastinates. Okay, so at the end of the day, you just really have to know that, okay, sometimes, if you want to produce quality work, you really have to put in the time. Yeah, so it's just that you have to keep on reminding yourself, especially when you're on a scholarship. You feel that so many people are applying for it, and you really have to make use of the opportunity you get. That's how I remind myself. When I'm like, I get to relax, I have too much fun. Like, there would be a million people who would like to be, in my shoes. And then there's so many people who are unfortunate that they don't get an opportunity to pursue their studies and all that. Self-realization, when you like guilt trip yourself, it works. Yeah, and then you're like, okay, it's time to study. It's time to carry on and do your work. Yeah.
So your answer, Zaidi, is to guilt trip yourself.
You just have to remind yourself. Remember why are you doing it and all that.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I think some of the questions we have already covered, and then yeah. So I think that's all our questions from the audience. So thank you for joining our conversation with Afrina Zulkifli about a scholarship's winner's secret to success. And many thanks to Afrina for being here with us. We hope you have gained a lot on what you should do next in aiming for the JPA scholarship and also how to study for exams. So do come back tomorrow for our next conversation with Professor Dr. Jaswal Singh and Barbara about the field of medicine and dentistry at 11 a.m. tomorrow. We'll see you then. Thank you.
Bye.